I think the idea of having songs open to interpretations is pretty cool. My backgrounds and reasons for writing my songs are my own, but that doesn't have to be the correct answer for you. If you have theories and conclusions of your own and you don't want to change your idea about them, or just prefer passively listening to the songs, or just like don't care, maybe don't watch this video. This is a song I'm kind of sad that isn't very liked, but I'm very proud of. I've been intrigued by the concept of flower languages, so I was looking them up, and there were so many things that Daisy stood for. I thought one whole song could come out from Daisy alone, and the rest is history. While there are others that I've either left out, or maybe I'm not even aware of, the flower languages for Daisy that I referenced in this song are innocence, purity, trust, loyalty, and quote, I'll never tell. Get it? The part that I'm especially proud of is the line, how not to die when the page turns over. I considered pages to be of calendars, so when calendar pages turn, seasons change, and when seasons change, flowers die. There you go. Looking back, there are some things I would change in terms of the sound, but as for the lyrics, I had a concept that I was able to present the way that I wanted, and that's why I'm fond of it. Also, the chorus with the melody itself was one of the first things that I ever wrote when I was 14, so I'm extra happy that I could directly import that phase of my life here.
How not to cry when my time is up, how not to dry when I'm picked out, oh, how not to doubt when the patient's over. Hold me in your empty don't not an animal, but you could leave me all like one.
This song started out very anger fueled. In fact, the chorus was initially fuck me up body and soul because that was verbatim what I noted down one day in a fit of rage. Toned it down later for the song's purposes. I still retained the anger in some parts though, like the last you don't want to talk about it was purposefully sung while I clenched my teeth. Not sure if that comes through though, this is not a very well produced song either, but hey, please cut me a slack in the first five. I pretty much worked on them simultaneously, so I didn't learn anything. I think the storyline in the song is pretty clear, but it's about slowly realizing that you're not in a healthy place. You know how they say everything in moderation? There are always side effects and repercussions. Sugar and sweets are nice, but it will, let's say, fuck you up. Maybe this song's about diabetes. I don't know. I struggled with the title, and honestly, I'm still not completely happy with this one, so maybe you'll see it change sometime.
I'm crying Saturdays, you don't wanna talk about it. Dig out the weakness hiding in what lies beneath.
You know what? I'm not done talking about the last song yet. Evolution, while it wasn't written later, is almost like an alternate universe or even a sequel to Sugar and Sugar. Here's the thing, both of the songs have to do with toxic relationships, which are often saturated with overdependence and overprotection, but the difference is in the mindset of the person. In Sugar and Sugar, the person is aware that something is wrong, but stays pretty dependent and is passive overall, only asking to be broken out, for example, and not that they will leave. The person in evolution, however, is thinking, planning, and have started to take action. Maybe these are different people, or maybe there has been a character development. On a separate note, my initial inspiration for writing this was Tiktikis. They detach their tail. There's something about it that just screams vitality. I wanted to write a reptilian song after listening to Alligator by Of Monsters and Men, and I know tiktikas are amphibians, but close enough. I'm also really pleased with the line, they thought I was deaf when you weren't around. It has to do with dependency, obviously, so I think it's safe to say it's the core of the song. Oh, this is a, can I say, fan favorite? Apparently, this is my best work so far, especially in terms of the instrumental, but I largely reference the strumming pattern from a Hyogo song. While I'm confessing, the civilized, legitimized rhythm was also inspired by Parekin sing. Sorry, I'm fake. Ironically, this song is the least thought out. I always have a list of standalone lyrics and phrases, and a good chunk of them seem to have the same vibe, so I lined them up and came up with a story, filled in the blanks, and that's about it. The only line that's relatively real to me is, "My love won't make it," but I digress. It was one of my Instagram captions before I knew was going into this song though. I won't explain the story of the song because, well, you can probably guess. I feel like there's really no choice but to limit this to romance, anyways. I'm very pleased with how this turned out, though, and I'm happy that people like it. And for the title, I called it Hands because the person is giving the authority over them to whoever they're talking about. It's all in their hands. I have too many plans. I'm careful. If this wasn't you, then it's trouble. There's a Japanese superstition that says when you sneeze, it means that someone's talking about you. Maybe that doesn't sound like a nice thing depending on context, but I still think there's something cute about it. Endearing. Every time I sneeze, it's almost reflex for my brain to go, I wonder who it was just now. One day I thought to myself, I don't think anyone even dreams that I recall their face whenever I sneeze. And that's how this song was born. The spoiler is at the end of the song, but that's the background for you. Frankly speaking, I thought I was a genius when I came up with this title. The narration might be kinda cringy, but I wanted to try something different, and since it was more of a dialogue, I thought it would be weird to sing anyways. I think worrying and wondering behind whether people think about me and remember me is kind of a recurring topic in my songs, as you'll see in another song later in the video.
Khakis in the water, lovers in a garden.
Really, I wrote this song because I wanted a song called Frontier. I love the sound of the word. The song is about being driven to the edge. Sometimes there are just too many issues to be exposed to and to have to cater to. People just wish to be able to have room for error and to have not much writing on them. Efforts can go wasted and words can be twisted because it's not a big deal anymore. One day I was slowly drifting off to sleep while wishing some things weren't mine to handle, and I guess I like the sound of what I was saying to myself because I wrote that down and here we are. I kind of got bored and lost my patience while recording and editing this, so I published this not very content with the result, but in hindsight I don't think it's that bad. Here's a fun fact. The noise at the very end was actually just the sound of me clicking the touchpad. I was obviously going to cut it out later, but after adding the guitar effect, it sounded to me something almost like a portal opening, which I thought was fitting for the song. So I imagine the children came to the end of their tolerance and resorted to going away somewhere unreachable. Okay, I have to start out by sadly disowning this song because I'm mad that I didn't write this. My friend Maha did. He doesn't really make music, but writes lyrics that are more cynical and even comedic, and I always enjoyed reading them, but this one stuck out to me particularly, and he actually sent me a chord progression that was not intended for this song, but I randomly sang the song to that given progression, and apparently he liked it enough to give me the all clear to work on this, so this is it. Your dude is, as I understand, essentially about loyalty and devotion despite being aware of possible consequences. This is a song about toxic love, but the lyrics are light and not depressing, which I really like. One part that I added is the short vocalization after "I'm left feeling woozy, unable to speak." Syllables that don't mean anything because I imagined a numb mouth trying to speak and failing. I'm happy I came up with that one, honestly. I can say this more comfortably because I didn't write this, but this is a really good song. I love it. And I kind of hate Ma for it.
Okay, nothing else works.
This is my favorite song so far. Maybe it's not my best song per se, but similar to Daisy, I strategized when putting together the lyrics and I'm super happy with the end result. Rarely do I write a song where every single lyric was placed with a purpose, but Bloodstains is that. I unashamedly love this, and I could probably talk through an entire video on this song alone. Actually, shout out to my friend Tasuva for listening to me analyze this for like 10 minutes. Basically, this song is me hypothesizing the different ways that love could come to an end. I personally think that I probably have to go through more than a couple heartbreaks to really understand love, human emotions, and chemistry, so that's really the song. It's a theorizing all that could be that's hopefully going to lead to enlightenment and eventual happiness. The gunshot-esque sound in the middle was initially unintentional. That was noise from outside that I decided to edit since I just sung murder. The outro apparently is the best part for many people, and I agree. In fact, half the reason I wrote this song might be just those 4 lines. Life is a lesson, and we're all taking classes one by one. That's also why the school bell rings at the end. This really means nothing. I was initially planning to make something titled My Fucking Eye, but I ditched that idea in favor of something else. I still like the sound of it and wanted to pop them in somewhere, so here it is as a set of 2 songs, I related. This is not even a playlist, I just didn't want to throw this phrase away. Thought this would hopefully be more convenient for listening to these songs in order since that's how they're intended. I was kind of sad when I wrote the basis of this. I hadn't been in touch with some people that I still cared about, and I wasn't upset at them because I could understand not being of much significance to them at the time, but I wished I was. I mentioned when I was talking about Bless You that hoping that I meaningfully exist in people's lives is a theme that pops up in some of my stuff, but this is another example. There's really not much body to this song because that was all there is to it. I wasn't big on dedicating a song to a single person because if they stumbled across the song, I didn't want them to feel bad about it or anything. So this is generalized to fit a few people. 12 years is also random, I just needed a number. It's a period of time I lived somewhere, but it's not relevant to the content of the song. By the way, for my non-buyer friends out there, sclera is the part of the eye that does not or cannot see.
You wouldn't think that ended on a good note.
This is the follow-up to Sclera. I didn't really think I could come to the place to write this, but surprise, sometime after writing Sclera, I did end up communicating with the people in question, and I'm happy to report that I was, as a matter of fact, not completely forgotten. When I first wrote Sclera, I actually thought about giving myself a happy ending. I could be happy in my own fiction, right? But I didn't want to fool myself like that, and somewhere in the back of my head, I was hoping I wouldn't have to lie. I thought maybe I'll jinx it in the wrong way, and I guess that helped. While I wrote this recently, this is more of my direct train of thought, so this is less of a song. It is literally 30 seconds, but it's okay. Therefore, there's nothing to explain because I'm basically straight up talking. Honestly, I'm just really grateful that I could be in the situation to write this one. Double Take is also a title I kind of called myself a genius for coming up with. I do that a lot, don't I? Anyways, the premise is that I had to do a double take at what I wrote in Sclera because the situation has changed. As of now, I have 12 songs made and uploaded. Some of these have been residing in my head for years, and some were sung to friends. Finally making an output was a big part of my bucket list, and I think these 12 songs mark the end of phase 1. Which doesn't really mean anything because phase 2 could just start later today. I don't know why my brain said yes, this is a checkpoint. Why am I saying all this? I just like talking. If you watched up to this, you must be very bored or you're just a really nice friend. Either way, thank you for listening to this and more importantly, my songs. And since I think it's just my friends watching this anyways, thank you, always.